Welcome to the White Wall Sessions Radio. I'm your host, Dan Schaefer. On this week's episode, we feature stem cells, Richard Grewar, and Knucklehead. If you'd like to know more about the artists on the show, visit thewhitewallsessions.com for features, links, and videos. Stem Cells are an energetic three-piece rock band based out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The band is Simon Keller on guitar and vocals, Alex Holloway on bass guitar, and Zach Smalley on drums. Stem Cells are currently recording their latest record, slated for a spring of 2018 release.
It's standing there, just waiting for you to take it. You work, you work, you work, you work, you work, you work. Just do the same, to do the same, to do the same, to do the same. I can't wait, I'm checked out. I can't wait, I'm checked out. 1 year left, but I'm checked out. What you already want. Run away while you still can. If you do, your dreams won't become. Oh, rebelize, 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 no motivation here. Utilize, 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 classic the condition fit. I can't wait, I'm checked out. I can't wait, I'm checked out. But I'm checked out. I can't wait till they let me out. You work, you work, you work, you work, you work, you work. Just do the same, to do the same, to do the same, to do it all. I can't wait, I'm checked out. I can't wait, I'm checked out. 1 year left, but I'm checked out. I can't wait till they let me out. I can't wait, I'm checked out. I'll be around, trust I'm checked out. I'll be around, but I'm checked out. Just to get around and they let me out.
Your drumming style, though, did you play in high school? Did you play marching band or anything?
I was never in marching band. I've been doing varsity band and just normal band at the school for 4 years now. And I played as a percussionist and picked up a lot of my influences from that. Just, it's very easy to appreciate well-written and composed music.
Sure.
So taking in all of that really helps to form genuine ideas and original ideas, especially for drums where a lot of it can sound the same.
Yeah, well, but you're a fast drummer, but you get a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of rolls, a lot of this and that. Almost like a jazz drummer, wedged into a punk band. Is that kind of, where did that style come from? Is that...
I think that really, when did I start doing that?
It hasn't been super recently that he started doing a lot of that stuff. I feel like if there's anywhere that it came from, it comes from him playing in, little groups that didn't do much. Like, he's been in a few bands that just jammed in the basement, and I've seen him and whatnot. But playing bass and knowing guitar, he's going to be mad at me for saying it, but he played the baritone.
Fifth grade. Good stuff.
But, like, playing many different instruments that do a lot, like, melody-wise instead of, like, rhythm-wise, I feel like that's helped Zach make the drums the melody.
Perfect. That's a great way to. That's exactly what it. Because it's not just keeping a beat. It was actually adding color. Almost rhythm with the drums. And speaking of that, I want to talk about bass over here, Alex. There's you weren't just doon 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 doon. You were playing a whole lot of melodic stuff going on in there. And in a three-piece band, the bass player has really opened up to do a whole lot of stuff. But I think I even saw you playing chords in that. Were you? Tell me about your bass style and how long have you been playing?
Well, I started playing bass in 4th grade through the orchestra, and up until this year, I quit playing bass this year. But then in middle school, I started playing in the jazz band, and I really like just how jazz bass players work, where they're just kind of all over the place and they're throwing in things here and they're always running up and down scales. And the chords, that comes from I really like Lemmy in Motorhead, and he always plays chords.
Why don't you have a Rickenbacker then? Tell the old man to get you a Rickenbacker.
They're really expensive.
That's why I tell him to do.
But I think that's a...
Well, you really add a lot, and there's so much space for the bass to play. There's so much space for really everybody to play, and that's what was so cool about it. And Simon, I want to go back to something you said, the music theory in that. Energy makes good music. Good energy makes good music, but good energy and good talent makes great music. And I think that there was a lot of great music that happened here. So those songs were thought out. They weren't just loud and full of energy. There were sections and pieces and parts. Do you write all the songs?
I do a lot of it. I write, I'll come up with a riff or just a chord progression or something. And then I might write lyrics at that time, might not. Depends on how I'm feeling. And I'll just come up with something that I think is cool. And I'll bring it up to these guys. And towards the beginning, it was me just, okay, here are the chords. Here's what I want you to play on the drums. Here are the vocals. But we've become more comfortable with each other, and we started writing together. So I'll write just a riff or something little, and I'll bring it to these guys, and they'll open it up. And then a lot of the times, melodies and things like that don't even come until I show it to these guys, because Alex will play, some weird thing on the bass, and Zach will create a pocket that I can play over and put something into. And so I don't want to say that I write all the songs, but I kind of let these guys, I'll come up with the barest of bones. I'll come up with a spine and a skull. And these guys not only add to that, but make me think of other things and add to it. And so it's more of a collaborative thing. I write all of the lyrics, but that's about it. We all work together for the music.
Interesting, because there's so much texture in those songs. And Zach, tell me about that. There's the slow melodic piece, and it's going, then suddenly it jumps into something really aggressive, and then comes back to it. And then it even go into a second part. Is that sort of just comes from jamming together, or do you kind of have that planned before you go into it?
I think that it's half and half, really. Some of the songs that we have, I played it almost, exactly the way I play it now the first time I heard it. A lot of it is just feeling it out, really, is playing by ear and creating a mood. And I, after playing in a lot of kind of basic, rock bands or whatever, it gets boring to not have texture in the drums and just be, holding the tempo and playing with the dynamics and, you know, the flow of how it all really feels as opposed to sounds is what I really enjoy.
You don't know, I wanna find out. You're afraid I might know, I wanna tell you. You're afraid.
Born in England, raised in Australia, and now living in the Black Hills of South Dakota, Richard's blend of rock, pop, and acoustic elements ignite a soundscape bursting with color, rhythm, and mood-altering intensity. In his session, Grewar served up a melting pot of looped acoustic overlays delivered in real time. Nothing is pre-recorded. Richard's last release, Cold Feet, was released in March of 2017 and is available on iTunes and wherever music is sold online.
Little lover, thanks for nothing. You've been hanging out of frame. Well, at least that's how it seems, and it plays out oh so dramatic. You get handed every part, but you're tragic from the start. There's a long way to go. I got a lot to say. I'm leaving. Oh, believe me, I can't resist it. One more time for luck. When one more time's too much. Another picture, same old plot line. Hell, I tried to take the reins, shoot the scene a different way, and you faded out right at the ending. Your credits roll just fine when you cherry pick the lines. This trip was for sale. I want my money back. Believe me, I'm not a passenger, I'm leaving. Oh, believe me, I can't resist it. One more time for luck. When one more time's too much. Passenger, I'm leaving. I'm not a passenger, believe me. Oh, believe me, I can't resist it. One more time for love. Believe me, I'm not a passenger, I'm leaving. Oh, believe me, I can't resist it. One more time for love. When one more time's too much. One more time for love. Too much.
So Australia, that's a rich country for music. I mean, from AC/DC to the Bee Gees, you've got everything. Paul Kelly, Casey Chambers, Shane Nichols. How long were you in Australia before you came here?
Geez, so I moved out there when I was 9. I say 10. My mum says 9. I guess I should believe her. And then, so I'm 30 for 20 plus years. So I'm 35 now. So
okay,
and I've been in the States for 4 years.
Okay.
So.
Did you start writing and playing in Australia then?
Yeah, I remember having the old, like, it was kind of TV Hits magazine or something. In the back cover, you would get these like 4 popular songs of the day or whatever it was. And I remember cutting out one of the songs. I don't remember what the song was, but then I would take some of the words and I'd replace the words with the name of like this video cassette, which was like an E240 Memorex or something. So I totally carved up this, rap song to create my so it's plagiarizing from the start. But that was, I didn't really know it at the time, but I was like, it's starting to get involved with sort of writing it. I didn't start playing guitar till I was about 12. That was through like peer pressure and that kind of desire to get the attention of girls and things like that. But soon enough, I realized to get better at guitar, you need to lock yourself away from the world, which includes away from girls for a long period of time to get good at it. So
yeah.
Well, those girls missed out.
What you just described with the cutting and using the different pieces, that's a pretty creative thing for a young person to do. Rather than just listening to it, you're actually trying to make something or make it personal.
Yeah,
right?
and I don't even think that I was singing the right melodies. Like it was just like whatever this song was in my head that I just kind of created for myself. It probably had no resemblance to whatever the original tune was that I was kind of cutting up there, but I knew that I enjoyed it. I remember being in my godmother's house, like air guitaring with this guitar that had no strings on it. I would have been all of 7 or 8 or something like that. So I always had an affinity to music, and my dad's taste in music was questionable, but Mum loved like Led Zeppelin and Michael Jackson. And I won't tell you what my first album was, but my second album was Bad by Michael Jackson. So he's definitely up there as one of my faves. And from there, all the Led Zeppelin stuff.
Face, hide in shame. You're a fool in your own game. No give, just take. You made mistakes. Yeah, the first step, it's the worst step, I'll admit. Lie and cheat, then leave to reinvent the wheel. Roll over me. Commonplace keeps me sound. Finally I stand my ground.
Knucklehead is a rock band based out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Longtime members of the local music scene, Knucklehead has spent years playing, recording, and honing their talents. The band is Andy Wood on guitar and vocals, Grant Wood on guitar and vocals, Matt Bartman on bass, and Lance Lohman on drums.
But it just kind of worked out because we've known each other for so long, and it's like we need somebody who's gonna be there and likes.
We
what
played
we
at the
do
Pomp
and-
Room, and Andy wasn't even 21 yet.
Yeah.
We remember that?
No kidding. You guys played at the Pomp Room. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
we played at what was that place? It was a Cornell show.
Pomp Fest.
Baba, not
Jams, was it?
yeah,
Oh, whatever the
Jams,
Jams.
whatever.
became.
Oh, yeah.
Night City,
Night
it might
City
have
just-
been. And
That was
they
crazy.
kicked me out the second we were done. Like, you're 17, you gotta go.
But they let you finish the set.
Yeah, they let me finish the set.
So tell me what it's like growing up in the Woodhouse, because your old man played one of the songs, and we saw him twiddling with your pedals, and I thought you were probably thinking, "Oh, there he goes again." But then he came out with this tone.
I know
and
it was coming because my tone is way crunchier and more. I grew up listening to the Chili Peppers, and like Green Day at Nordic Hall was one of my first shows ever, and I like, overdrive, crunch, and my pops is just good enough that he just brings the tone naturally through the amp with his fingers, and I need to cover up holes, and he's just that good that he dialed it in the way he wants, and you'll see when you review the video or when the video goes on TV or whatever, that just the tone is.
It's unbelievable.
It's.
I mean, it was really. It's
He
like,
steals the show. Really, yeah.
Right. But we
time we get him on stage,
we
yeah.
encourage him to steal the show
We need all the help
because
we can.
you're right.
that's really cool. So, is that where your music? You grew up listening to music with him,
Yeah, he was
or
always in bands and
There was always some Beatles or some. Mom's had a Hall & Oates record occasionally that would get sprinkled in, and we had the stereo, and I got pumped downstairs. We listened to Michael Jackson, Thriller. We were always surrounded by music, and there was always Dad was always playing, but there was never any pushing. Like,
Sure.
you're going to
No,
do that.
It was an option. You grew up
Yeah.
around guitars in the house.
When I turned 14, I had a birthday party and I had like a dozen kids at the house, and I didn't play at all. And my dad came down. Allegedly, maybe there was a bit of a jag going on for him, but he came down and sat and played, and a bunch of 14-year-olds sat in a semicircle and watched him like they were in kindergarten watching Moana or something. Wow. And I said, I want to do that. Not so much I want to be able to play well. Like, I want to be a showman. I want to do that.
So
And
that
the
was
next day. I started picking around a little bit, learned drop D, and learned a couple Soundgarden riffs or whatnot. And
that was your Beatles Ed Sullivan moment.
yeah,
where
pretty much. When I was watching him, because he started
I'd hear him
years
and his
before.
friends playing, and they were new. So they started getting better, and I was like, well, they're starting to sound good.
And that's when you
Yeah,
wanted
when
to
I was-
come in?
I don't know what made me decide.
Well, actually, I mean, a lot of people hear music from their parents or whatever, but to actually see your parents play and say, okay, well, you can do this, that's got to, I mean, you probably wouldn't know.
Well, with friends of my father as well, we've been surrounded by, like, every once in a while there'd be a world-class musician, or like, oh, this guy has toured the world playing in such and such an actor. This guy does this, and we're going to go see Chick Corea because Mike's playing with him. Okay, who's that? Like,
Our dad was focused
Mike
on
Miller?
the family for
He
the
was?
most part. He was a family guy, just raising his family. Guitar on the side.
Yeah, nice.
He could have probably done more,
Yeah.
but
it was...
he chose to.
He chose
It
to-
was
conscious
encouragement,
decision.
but never pushing. So it kind of just
Yeah.
became what it became, and
Yeah.
now I'm doing my best to catch up. I don't know. I can only play one guitar at a time, kind of, but I feel the need to own 37 of them.
Well,
and
everyone
the
can understand that. I mean, that just makes
Understandable.
sense. Well, that classic Fender Gibson, I
Yeah.
just love the way those two, particularly a Strat and a Les Paul.
Yeah.
Did you choose that intentionally, or?
Not necessarily. I didn't. have my
Only in the
part.
last couple of years he started getting into bought the Gibson. He was playing a
I have a
Strat
Fender
for.
as well, so I was like, Fender.
He bought a Marshall amp, and
Oh, cool.
Marshall, you owe my
Years
brother
ago.
an amp. It died on him
Yeah,
like
so
the day after the warranty went out.
So you were playing the Gibson through
So
the Marshall?
He's playing a Gibson through a Fender amp
now
today.
Yeah, today I saw
Yeah.
that. But you used to play through the
Yeah.
Marshall, sort of that
but I
Southern
like
rock
the sound.
sound.
I think it sounds all right.
Yeah, I love the way the tone on those, and
Yeah.
well, you guys
this'll
grew up
work.
playing tones.
And you got the tone
hope.
thing like
I
Dad
hope.
too, so it comes through.
Well, the sound, the trade offs were really cool. I mean, have you ever tried to do double leads with the Fender and the Les Paul?
No, that is something to work on in the future for sure.
Be cool. How long you been playing drums, Lance?
Oh, I'm a late bloomer. I bought myself an electronic drum kit when I was 18, 19. I would mess around with these guys, but I would sound horrible, and they would kick me off the drums within 10 minutes, and you got to stop. Then I kind of bought my own little electronic kit and
Put in
got
work.
focused and put it in my living room, and I played along with Eagles and just super simple stuff, and just kept at it, and I just haven't stopped.
You guys got a good drummer, I gotta say. And your bass. I mean, I tell you, that was some really cool bass going on. How long have you been playing? Well, you started on guitar, right?
Bass, not super long, as long as
But
Knucklehead. But my dad taught me when I was like 10, I think. He played guitar too, so I grew up kind of like these guys. Our dads actually worked together.
Really?
And knew each other, and so
quite well.
yeah.
That's pretty cool having
Yeah.
the musician in the family. So.
Yeah.
So is that where your influence came from, or did it come from your normal, Chili Peppers you were talking about? You kind of have that balance of what your peers are listening to, but then the old man picking a guitar in the house.
I've gotten so sick of people making up their own labels that I just call what we do rock and roll. And it's like, what do you? This is rock and roll. It's postmodern, whatever, all that pretentious. We just play
We've
rock and roll.
always done what feels good.
Good.
We
And
play
we
what
just
we
like
like.
so many different things.
You
But
can
his
tell.
dad definitely had an influence on him.
He's a blues guy, and I started listening to Metallica, so
Yeah.
much to his chagrin. But
Grant got all the.
but he encouraged us.
Grant got the Metallica tablature books.
And then I
when he
moved on
was
to Chili
14,
Peppers,
and-
so
Well, Chad Conrad, our brilliant sound guys, was saying, those guys covered guitar from the 70s to the 90s in one song, and it was true. And
We've
that's
kind
like
of
you were
always
saying.
Yeah.
That's how it doesn't matter. You don't need to fit a box. It's just whatever feels good, right? Because
Right.
there were certain sections of those songs that, they're different. And that was really cool. How does that come about?
Andy,
I,
Andy, straight up.
I like weird stuff. I don't know. Like
He keeps it interesting, and he just likes.
Well,
to do
I'll write a
things
2-part song. Like this song needs another part to break it up, and then well, that's ridiculous. Hey guys, I wrote this other part. Lance, follow along with this. We're gonna stop, and then you're gonna do this. Now, like, what?
If you'd like to know more about the artists we feature, visit thewhitewall.sessions.com. The White Wall Sessions Radio is recorded and produced at Last Stop Studios in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Last Stop Studios is located in the lower level of the Last Stop CD Shop at 2121 East 10th Street in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Executive producers are Jeff Zuger and Doug Taylor. Head of Broadcast Engineering is Dave Palmer. Audio technicians are Chad Conrad, Carl Koiser, and Dave Palmer. Audio mixing is Chad Conrad. Associate producer is Michael Yeager. Scheduling and sales is Tom Eisner. I'm your host, Dan Schaefer. Join us again next week for another edition of the White Wall Sessions Radio.